All right. Good afternoon. My name is Pat Bradley. I'm the Director of Communications and Emergency Management at Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center. On the other screen, we have Peter Genovese, a young man who phoned me here at the medical center a couple of weeks ago and had a very interesting story to tell me. And by the time he was done telling the story, I knew that he was somebody that Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center and its Office of Communications and Emergency Management wanted to partner with. So Peter, welcome. And
Good to
please
be here.
tell us a little bit about Operation Protect Our Protectors and what the genesis of that wonderful concept that you have was.
Sure. Happy to talk through it. So I really appreciate you having me. Okay, so Protect Our Protectors originated from, well, to give you a little bit of background, I'm a technical project manager by trade, and I actually live in California. So I I came back to come see my family and everything because I knew that things were kind of getting a little bit dicey in the world. So I came back, and I come back quite often. And when I came back, I started to see that people were running out of resources. So I started buying toilet paper and buying food for people and taking care of the community in general to start, and my friends and family who weren't impacted as much as California because it was kind of lagged a little bit. So then I got that out of the way. Everybody was taken care of. Then I started to see posts online that nurses and medical personnel in hospitals were starting to get impacted by lack of supplies, lack of masks, and things like that. Well, my mother's an ICU nurse, and a lot of my aunts are in the medical field and things like that. And it just seemed absolutely wild to me that they wouldn't have what they need to protect, to be able to protect them while they're taking care of these patients and trying to make sure that everything's okay. So I literally looked at my little brother and I go, "We should make masks." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I got an idea. So I started drinking some coffee and I started whiteboarding a bunch of stuff, and then I started posting on Facebook. I have a huge network on Facebook. I got like 2,000 to 3,000 people on Facebook, both in California and in Western New York. I started posting that I wanted to make masks and I wanted to collect masks. So one thing led to another, and then Janine Alsus reached out to me, who I used to go to high school with and then college with. I haven't seen in 7 years. She reached out to me and goes, "Hey, I have 2 designers over in Rochester. What if we start making masks?" And then I was like, "That's awesome. Let's do that." So we came up with a brand. She's a communications specialist. She does marketing and communications. I do project management, and I understand how to do product management and build things and get them out the door. So one thing led to another. We started working 20 hours a day, and we started a GoFundMe, and folks started donating, and we started getting funds. I upfront cost like a bunch of money out of pocket, like thousands of dollars, and we're just ordering tons of supplies off the internet, and we started getting the word out, started getting traction, and this just started getting really exciting. So then we reached out to you because I saw the video online, and then Channel 2 reached out to us, and then Channel 4 reached out to us, and then we went to 20 volunteers that would help sew, then 40, and now we're at almost 60 volunteers to help sew. I got to be clear, we haven't been operational for 2 weeks yet. and we're starting to build masks at scale. And so that's kind of the idea. Is I see the opportunity here. As long as we can get the supply chain put together, as long as we can get the supplies we need and the funding that we need, we can market this correctly, we can create a distribution channel, and we can get folks the materials that we need.
So imagine this. I'm sitting here in the office 2 weeks ago. This guy calls on the telephone. Like all the hospitals in Western New York and probably many of the hospitals across the country right now, we're having a difficult time identifying sources of personal protective equipment, PPE, to keep our healthcare workers safe. And out of the blue, I get a telephone call from this guy that says, "Hey, we want to make a lot of masks and send them to your hospital." So of course we said, well, yeah, that'd be a wonderful idea. I had no idea just how fast this was going to catch on. The day that Peter called me, I reached out on Facebook and by telephone to a couple of friends of mine who had indicated, excuse me one moment, who had indicated that they had an interest in sewing masks. And I said, "I know this guy. I got a guy named Peter who's working at putting together a network of people who want to make masks and send them to Western New York hospitals. Would you be interested? And I gave these folks the address for the web address for his Facebook page, and they were immediately interested. Then I found out that there was a local fabric seller who was participating in a program that was somewhat similar to this and who was giving away the elastic to help put the masks together. And I thought, like this Peter guy, he's onto something. So how has your network grown since you and I first spoke a couple of weeks ago?
Absolutely. So it's kind of wild that time's going this quickly, but we were at 2 designers. Now we're up to about 60 volunteers total in that 2-week period. Our network is growing. We have a lot of different channels working at once. We're trying to source as much supplies as we possibly can. I know that a lot of the different suppliers are starting to run out of things, but we're actively looking in many different ways, and we have tons of stuff that's on the way and ordering it. So we're doing a good job of sourcing the material, but we are worried that long term there could be an impact on the supply chain. So if you know people that can provide us more material, particularly elastic and fabric and interfacing, that would be really helpful. And we're trying to reach out to more people. So people have been reaching out to us. There are other grassroots efforts that are stepping up, and they're like in Erie County and like Buffalo Resilience rather. And then we have a couple of other groups that are popping up that we're now in communication with. So it's starting to grow. We're starting to band together. We're all leaning on each other, and it's kind of cool to see. Like everybody is just stepping up to help each other. It's really beautiful. Additionally, my little brother actually knew a company over in Buffalo that makes face shields. So I've been in touch with Jason actually in our supply group that there's a potential for buying those at a very reasonable cost. So I talked to both parties, talked to Jason, talked to that other company, and I kind of got them talking. So there's a potential for some face shields as well.
Well, that'd be a beautiful thing, because face shields are one of the items that our hospital and other hospitals across Western New York are having a hard time sourcing right now. So
Right.
How many people do you have that are actually doing the sewing right now that have become part of the network that you're building?
Roughly 60.
That's amazing. And have you started to distribute product yet?
So people plus purpose equals organization, right? All these folks are trying to do this independently and without resources, but they want to help. People are stuck in their houses and they want to help. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to band everybody together, organize them, get them the resources that they need, get them created, and then distribute them to the places that need it the most. We are getting, I believe, 100 masks to Memorial on either tomorrow or the next day. This is like a first initial kind of batch, because we've been getting, this is lagging from what we've been creating from Rochester and getting it sent over. And now that we have more people and we're getting them resources, they're starting to build more. So next week we should have more masks and things like that. I think we're also looking at giving 50 to another hospital in the area and smaller clinics. We're trying to give 20 here, 20 there. So we're trying to spread it out a little bit. But the goal is, if we can get everybody to band together and create more masks, once we get them more supplies in hand and they can convert them, then we're going to be in really, really great shape. But it's just getting it all up started. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you strike me as the kind of guy who says go big or go home, right? If we're going to do this, let's do as much of this as we can do it. And when you and I spoke a couple of weeks ago, you said that you were hoping to get an initial shipment of masks here to Niagara Falls Memorial, but that your ultimate objective was to be able to supply them to all the hospitals in Western New York. Is that correct?
So specifically Erie County and Niagara County, because we're looking at realistic scope at the time, and I want to take it scope by scope by scope, right? So I know that there are other efforts at the moment. I know that due to the community that we have in Buffalo and the community that we have in Niagara Falls, we have an ability to actually make a significant impact with the grassroots effort, right? Beyond that point, once it starts growing the rest of Western New York and things like that, it would be beautiful to be able to help everybody and everything. But I want to be able to get some wins under our belt and then continue to scale and things like that. Also, if we continue at the rate that we're going and we continue to scale up, who knows what could happen? I mean, again, it's been 12 days. I'm a very 10x thinking type of person, and I really, if we're going to do something, let's actually move the needle on it. That being said, we really need a scalable model of donations, and we need a scalable model of supplies, because if I'm running around paying for everything and just sourcing on eBay, that's not a scalable model. If we get all of the supplies that we need, and we get, volunteers continue to uptick every single day, and everybody that with a sewing machine in Buffalo and Niagara Falls teams up and gets in our group, and then we have the supplies, we have the resources, the money, everything, then we can do the things like larger scope type stuff, right? But we have to be reasonable.
So let's talk about how you can scale things up in a way that's going to be workable for you. What is it specifically that you need to grow this, and how can people get in contact with you to help you make this happen?
Sure. So our contact information, whether you need things, like if you need masks, or if you can provide masks, or if you can provide supplies, or if you want to help sewing, is going to be operationprotectourprotectors@gmail.com. That is our central list. We comb it every day, like throughout the entire day. We comb it, we have everything categorized, and we're taking those requests and putting them into a spreadsheet, and we have a whole tracker going on all of this information. We need interfacing we need more interfacing to make the masks. The cotton fabric we have a lot of, we're just saying that, and elastic, we need elastic to be able to make the masks and things like that. So those are key things that we're trying to source. We have a good amount of it right now, but we're trying to source more because, again, to scale, right? And then our GoFundMe, we have a GoFundMe, and if I believe that you have that link, if not, I can send it over. But if you can donate to that, I know times are tough right now, but we need donations to that to be able to scale the model up so that we have the money that we need to be able to buy the supplies. And then if you can help sew, please join our team.
And you also have a Facebook page that's up that has some of this information on it, correct?
Yes, we have social media, and I wish Janine was here to speak to them, but I believe we have Facebook, we've been posting on LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, and we have, and I believe we have a Twitter as well. And so but the Facebook community is really popular, and a lot of people are catching on to that, and that's Operation Protect Our Protectors. There's also a frame that you can change your frame to Protect Our Protectors, and it's a nice frame that goes around your photo, and that's really helping spread our awareness and everything, which has been great, and that's been catching on quite a bit. It's helping getting us visibility.
So if you're a football fan, you're going to love some of the original designs that Peter and his team are working with. They have a mask that's a Buffalo Bills mask that'll just blow you away when you see it. And if you go to that Facebook page, you'll be able to see some illustrations of that. I think you have that right in the page, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have pictures of kind of what we've been building so far, and we started with a lot of the Buffalo Bills the type of material. We wanted to really embody the pride of the area. We want people to get empowered about what we're doing here. We want this to be local communities stepping up and standing together to be able to get through this together. And we thought that the Buffalo Bills thing would help with that.
And that concept that you just voiced about local communities standing together to work through issues together is what Western New York is all about. One of the things that Niagara Falls does best. It's one of the things that Niagara County does best, and it's one of the things that all of Western New York does best. Peter, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us this afternoon about this wonderful operation that you have going, Operation Protect Our Protectors. We're looking forward to that first box of masks coming our way, and I'm sure that that we'll have pictures of those up online just about as soon as we crack them out of the box. Thanks for all you're doing, not just for Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, but for the whole Niagara County and Erie County community, and all of the hardworking healthcare workers that are out there standing against this coronavirus as it spreads across Western New York. Thanks for helping us. Thanks for all that you're doing, and we look forward to talking to you again. So I'm Pat Bradley, Director of Emergency Management and Communications at Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, with Peter Genovese, who is from Project Protect Our Protectors. Thanks again for all you do, and everybody take care. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.